Hello to everyone out there listening in the non-space that is the internet. I'm your pal, J.Ishiro Finney, author and alien in a human suit.
And I am Kat Rocha, CEO and editor-in-chief of 01 Publishing.
And this is Talking Shop. So today, I thought I would talk to Kat about the future is supposedly female.
This is why you didn't tell me.
That pained look on your face, if only that could be somehow translated to visual.
Insert picture of Judge Kat burning something.
Now, in current year, Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel and DC, Image, and now the MCU have all decided that they need you to be their primary customer. How do you feel about all these broad sweeping changes they did for you?
Where to begin? For starters, it's not for me because, guys, you already had me. I was already reading Ms. Marvel back when Carol Danvers actually was a cool character. I was already reading The Furies when Big Barda was still taking cues from Jack Kirby. You already had me. You lost me. That's the thing. This, quote, diversity and appealing to the female audience is pushing away the women that they had in favor of what? What audience are they trying to appeal to? What audience is Brie Larson appealing to? Who is going to see Brie Larson on the screen and think, I need to be reading those books? They're not making movies with the idea of growing and cultivating the culture of comics, a reading audience, fans who will buy the comic book and the lunchbox and who will be around forever. They're growing a fad. They're not growing a fan base. And they are especially not growing a fan base with the people they claim to want to be cultivating. Specifically, in this instance, with women, with females, with girls.
Seems like the women they already had, they don't care about.
No, they don't. Let's take a character that a lot of women love. There's a huge fan base around her. Women get married dressed as her, and that's Harley Quinn. Harley has been a fan favorite among females pretty much since her inception in Batman the Animated Series. She has always been there, and she's always been the one that girls and females felt that they could love, relate to. As much as that makes me cringe, no, Harley was never a favorite of mine, but I can totally understand why a lot of girls loved her. While the friendship between Harley and Ivy has maintained, and there's tons of pictures online of girls dressing as Harley and Ivy going to conventions together.
Ivy's a favorite of mine.
Well, Ivy is definitely a favorite of mine too, but it's that Harley speaks to a lot of girls, a lot of females. She's never been a feminist icon. Then when they decided they were going to make her a feminist icon, yeah, there's still a fan base around her, but she's not the same Harley anymore. She now has an agenda.
She dresses like a juggalo. She's a whore. Thanks, Gail Simone. You made her that.
The fact that she compares her vagina to a clown car. You know, it was one thing when she was just the lovable, codependent clown princess in a very abusive relationship with Mr. J, yet underneath it all, you got the sense that this is a very broken individual that deep down had a heart of gold. It's just she's manipulated and twisted by the people who she surrounds herself by. You could kind of liken her to Beavis from Beavis and Butthead, where you get the episode where It's a Wonderful Life. Butthead, the world would be a better place if you weren't in it. Please kill yourself. And you see that Beavis is actually a nice kid when he doesn't have Butthead's influence. That's Harley. And I think that speaks to a lot of girls. A lot of girls with their insecurities and needing to have friends and people around them to help them find themselves and find their footing. I can see where Harley would appeal to those girls. That's been taken away from her. Harley is now an extremely damaged Mary Sue. And that is the future is female. The future is they damaged Mary Sue. Every character that they drag out and say, look, she's female, you should like her. Look, she's female, you should want to be her. They're all very damaged Mary Sues. They're not characters. I mean, Rey in Star Wars. I don't need to say any more. Okay, quite frankly, you want a metaphor for being female? It's B'Elanna, trying to be a normal, rational individual, especially in the sciences, when she has this animal primal urge that just wants to beat the crap out of anybody that looks at her sideways and fuck like a rabbit. I totally understand where she's coming from, and they whizzed that character. You want a female character who is strong and independent and can hold her own, yet has fucking flaws, and it's the flaws of your characters that make them, not how strong they are, how fast they are, what their powers are, their abilities. No, it's the flaws of the character that makes the character. You know what character fucking rocks? Judge Anderson in Dredd, because she starts off insecure and unsure of herself, and because of the events of the film, she comes into her own, and by the end, she's a fucking boss. Fuck this female shit. No, they either are a good protagonist or a bad protagonist. They are well written or shittily written. Gender should not come into it when you're describing them, other than to say that they are male or are female. Female protagonist shit is bullshit, and I hate it.
The portrayal of Anderson in the Dredd movie, her being female was required for that role to work.
Oh, that's not what I said.
Okay, yeah?
No, I said I hate the term female protagonist.
Oh, I see.
No, she is a hero. She comes into her own. She has the hero's journey, not Dredd. Dredd is the old workhorse who has been through the grinder, who has seen it all. She's the one who has to make that journey and find herself. And that's the story of that film. And she is not spoon-fed that journey. It comes hard to her. Hell, there's even the threat of her being raped at one point. And they handled that so well, so that you still had that scare, that horror of what was going to happen to her. So that when you're told that it's not, it doesn't take the horror away. There's still that reality. This isn't a PG-13 version of this world. This is still a harsh and gritty world. If they had not brought that up, she wouldn't be a character.
So do you think it was intentional then that in the Dredd movie, the head of the villains, Mama, was very much a feminist man-hater? She's the villain running this gang. Do you think that was intentional?
Yeah, I do, actually. Well, she was so cookie-cutter, stereotypical of a feminist man-hater, right down to the fact that she had been a prostitute and she had demanded her pimp with her teeth. Tell me that's not cookie cutter, stereotypical by the numbers. And yet, what I love about it is you just hear that and you think, oh shit, you know, she's a man hater. Yet she surrounds herself by men. She's the only female in the gang, and she's just as ruthless, just as harsh, just as ugly. You could have just changed it ever so slightly and it could have been a guy running it, but it does mean more that it is a woman, especially for the development of Dredd's character. Dredd doesn't care if you're male or female. You're a lawbreaker and you have to be judged.
Well, Mama had no weakness, or at least showed no weakness, and was in total control at all times.
Scarily so. And just how much she had everybody scared of her and wrapped around her little finger, because they got Lena Headey, fucking Cersei from Game of Thrones, to play her. Just her presence is enough to get the point across that this is a scary bitch and you do not want to cross her.
And her portrayal of Mama made Cersei look like a puppy.
Yeah.
If Cersei acted like Mama, that would be a different show.
It would be a different show.
I'd probably still care. Anyway.
But we digress.
So here we are, entering Phase 4 of the MCU.
I don't care.
All of our beloved characters have either been emasculated, ruined, or dead.
None of what they are promising is what I want. None of it. I don't care.
Body positive Thor.
Are you joking?
No. In the second film, he's a fatty.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. No, I want to see luscious man pecs. I want to see them abs.
Does metrosexual Hulk make you feel more at home in the MCU now that it's safe for you?
The words Hulk and safe should not be in the same sentence. That's stupid. No, it does not. I want my women tough, hot, but flawed, and I want my men tough and hot and flawed. I'm talking like how Tony Stark is obsessive to the point of he will kill himself. He's working so hard, and he's an alcoholic. That's a flaw. I don't want this Metro bullshit. Black Widow. Strong, tough, and as you do get into her development, she's got flaws. She's damaged. That's a character. And I'm just talking the movies. I am well aware of her in the comics.
Carl Manvers, does that make you feel like, you know what, this is a character for me?
I don't know who she's a character for. Who the fuck does she appeal to? Her constant resting bitch face is not attractive. They've done everything they can to eliminate any semblance of femininity. She's the bestest ever, which means she has absolutely no flaws. She's boring and unappealing. Who is going to look up to this person? And don't tell me, oh, little girls were. You want to give your girls somebody with morals, somebody with a personality that they can aspire to. Carol Manvers has neither of those things. She's just an adult that punches. That's boring and weak, and if you are pushing for that for your child, I fear for your child. I'm sorry. Sorry, you can send your hate mail to me. I don't care.
When Brian Reed was writing Miss Marvel back in the early 2000s, that was a good series. We were really enjoying that.
Yeah.
Along with Jeff Johns' Power Girl.
That was a great time for these characters because there really was a push to have these be characters. They weren't just the girls in the group. They weren't just female superheroes. No, these were characters that were being written and developed. And all that got thrown out the window.
You ever notice that the very moment they decided they needed to change everything to attract a certain female audience, we suddenly had a rape crisis at conventions? Suddenly, everyone was a pedophile.
Everyone is a Nazi.
Yeah, we never had a Nazi problem before this. And then suddenly this certain fan base is invited in and everyone's a fucking Nazi and a rapist.
I understand the pencil pushers and the money people saying, hey guys, there's this huge untapped market of people. You should make characters that appeal to them. I understand that. But when you try and you fail, why keep ramming your head against that wall over and over again? Well, I guess we didn't take it far enough. We gotta make this even more of a Mary Sue. We have to give them even less character. You know what? The guys will buy these characters no matter what. Just get rid of the tits, get rid of the hips. You know what? Take that back. Scratch that. Make them all 12 years old because chicks love kids. Just make them 12 and then the girls will come running.
Video games didn't have a sex offender problem until a certain audience of females suddenly were invited in, and then Nazis were suddenly everywhere. I mean, video games never had a Nazi problem. In fact, it was a domain for dorky, nerdy guys who were kind of smart, and overnight they all became rapists and Nazis.
I am quiet for a couple of reasons. One, ugh, and two, I'm trying to figure out a way to make a joke about the casting couch and women in refrigerators. Women on the casting couch eating out of refrigerators. Once again, because of Gale, there's this thing with food everywhere. My fucking god. Okay, you want a character that pisses me off? Fucking Faith. I am sick to death of people talking about how Faith is such a brave and strong character and holding her up on a fucking pedestal. Faith is a one-note fat joke. She has no personality. She serves no purpose other than to be the fat girl, to be the fat best friend, to be the fat joke. Her entire existence is she's the fat joke, and we're being told that we shouldn't laugh. No, you want the quote Faith character done right? You want that character done right? Pam from Archer. Pam's fat, she's constantly eating, yet she is actually a capable person, even though she's a little bit of a dingbat. But she is a capable person. She actually is good at her job. She is sexually liberated. It is very well established that she can kick a lot of ass because she used to do pit fights. And then she has all of this emotional baggage and low self-esteem problems from the fact that her family are all assholes, that she's actually the nicest one of her family, and she fills that void with food and dicks. Tell me that's not an awesome character. Seriously.
What characters did you relate to?
Power Girl, as everybody knows, and Big Barda, as everybody knows. I have been very vocal about the characters that I relate to.
So those physiques and those big breasts they really offended you?
I wanted to grow up to be that, and I did. I had to realize that I was that after I lost 40 pounds.
I thought you wanted to grow up to be Jessica Rabbit, and then you realized you were way too rough around the edges to ever be that dame.
No, I still want to dress like Jessica Rabbit. I still aspire to do that. The reality is that I'm too rough to be that dame, but I can still want it.
Yeah, you're always going to be the tomboy engineer's daughter.
Exactly.
You don't have time to do your hair because it'll get in your face.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's kind of a derail there. I guess as a final word with Comicsgate. We know that Marvel, DC, something cataclysmic's gonna happen before anything gets better. We've got to hit Batman and Robin level badness, and then a 10-year, 20-year cooling off period before anything gets better.
We're already there. I would rather watch Batman and Robin than Carol Manverse. Batman and Robin had eye candy.
It hit an all-time low, it bombed, hero movies were gone for at least a decade, and then finally there was a resurgence.
That doesn't work.
No?
No.
Why?
Star Wars. They are beating that horse. Not only is that horse dead, it's now blowing in the wind, and yet they're still thinking, we can make this work. We can cram these characters down these people's throats. We can make it work. No, if they were people who are wanting to make money, yes, I would say, fine, put it on ice for, 5-10 years, come back, try again.
Let's face it, Comicsgate, we might as well just operate off the principle that they're never coming back, and that we're not going to get our heroes back. We in Comicsgate, what do we have to do?
Well, we're already doing it. We're making stuff that doesn't suck. Comicsgate is the place to be if you're wanting stories with characters. Male, female, it doesn't matter. We just need more.
Yeah, we need more content.
All you Comicsgaters out there, pat yourselves on the back. If people out there are not familiar with Comicsgate, put in the hashtag, find a creator, find a book you like. Might I recommend Case File Arkham? It's got sexy women. It's got capable men. It's got everything that Marvel and DC don't have. And
like good writing.
Well, especially good writing. But yeah, put in the hashtag Comicsgate. You will find something you will love, and you will find characters that will make you a fan for a lifetime.
Speaking of the failure of the big two, who would have thought that hiring a bunch of men dressed as women hopped up on estrogen would produce such bad work? Oh, is that offensive?
No, it's not that. Well, no. That's not where my head was going.
Where was your head going?
In places that are controversial, and I don't want to turn people off. I don't want to turn people off.
Okay, why don't you say it, and if I think it's too bad, I'll cut it.
Well, you were bringing up men dressed as women putting out shitty comics, and I'm like, women who are women don't really put out the kind of comics I read. There are very few that I have read that was the audience that they were intended for. I tend to read books where the writer just says, I have a story in me and here's my story. Or I tend to read books that appeal to men. I don't read books that appeal to women. So that's even doubly so when they say, well, we're making this to bring the female audience. It's like, I instantly know I'm going to hate it because it's instantly going to have a romance trope, a friendship is forever trope, or scenes of girl talk and ice cream. Also, I hate this idea of, girls have friendships that last forever. No, I'm sorry, females hate each other. You will have one good friend, and even then, The relationship is usually the alpha and the beta. The alpha is the one who is in charge of the relationship, who drives the relationship, and the beta is the follower. Very rarely do you have females on the same footing. I hate this. Oh, we're gonna be girls, we're gonna dish, and we're gonna go out and joke about men over lattes and eclairs. That doesn't happen. That's not real. And that's what the majority of books aimed at women are. Let's look at the...
All right, well, I think we're wrapping this up. Do you want to put a final word on this? Maybe something about buying my books and then supporting us on Subscribestar so we can make more episodes of Adventures in Awful on a regular basis.
You want me to say that? Or
Yeah, I think you should back me up on this.
So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this rant. As I said, definitely use the hashtag ComicsGate to find great comics, especially the ones put out by 01 Publishing. Ishii has a wonderful series if you haven't read it yet. It's Case File Arkham, where the men are tough, the women are beautiful, and the nightmares are scarier than you would even believe. You can find all of our books on Amazon.com as well as 01publishing.com. Another show that we do is Adventures in Awful, where Ishii subjects me to the worst of the worst in comics right now, and you get my raw, almost unedited critiques of them.
Good night, everyone.